Thanks for joining us on our comic book coffee break. I'm Nick Gunning.
I'm Eric Mickles, known online as Dust vs. Tweak.
Eric, today I'm drinking a little Juan Valdez coffee. It's black and it's on ice because it's still hot.
Yeah, everything you've had for the past 10 episodes have been on ice.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've needed to be refreshed, and this coffee's doing it.
Down. Yeah.
This is episode 10, big guy. You excited about that?
Yeah, as Dreamy Warrior Dolo pointed out, 10 for X-Men. So that makes me happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love a good little Roman numeral joke. So.
Yeah, those are great.
Thank
They're
you.
very accessible, too.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. People love the Roman numerals.
I'm drinking Diet Pepsi. But here's why. Fun story.
Diet Pepsi? What are you, Ray Charles?
What? No, so here's the thing. Oh, that's right. And was he in the Pepsi commercial with the Pepsi girl at the time? Did they have like a crossover?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
that was Haley Cat Eisenberg, by the way.
From the movie
Who was
Polly.
the Pepsi girl. Yeah.
and
Bicentennial Man, but you know.
Weird. No. Every time me and my wife order Pizza Hut, I use the app and I'm like, I would like Pepsi. And the first, like, the 3 times ago, somebody's like, oh, they didn't have Pepsi, so I brought you a Sierra Mist. I was like, oh, okay. Second time, they're like, oh, they didn't have Pepsi, so we're refunding you. I'm like, okay. And then, like, 2 days ago, they're like, ah, they didn't have Pepsi, so we brought you Diet Pepsi. I'm like, when I order Pepsi.
Ow.
It's a very first world problem. Like, my soda isn't the soda I wanted, but it's still, I ordered a freaking Pepsi. Pizza Hut.
No.
You're the Pepsi place. If I went to Taco Bell and they're like, sorry, we're out of Mountain Dew, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Where am I?
I know. All they have is regular Mountain Dew. They don't have any like Tutti Frutti Pineapple Coconut Blast Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
That'd be upsetting.
But anyway.
But no, there's no excuse for bringing Diet.
Yeah.
Like, I'll allow Sierra Mist or a Dr. Pepper, but oh my gosh, look at that mug. Wait a minute.
The mug was made by my wife, Ms. Music Box. She's pretty crafty. This is one of those, like, the markers that she used. And it's nice because every time we do this, I'm like, oh, I'm right-handed, so you can't see what I'm seeing. Now you can see it. It's my mug. Actually, I think this is technically her mug. I'm using it right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
My mug was a gift that I got from my sister-in-law when I turned 30. And it says, I will be 29 until further notice.
Oh, he's 30 years young.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. Oh, boy. 22 forever.
I know.
All right. This show is brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. You can find more about this show and others like it at our network's website, radiomeanwhile.com.
Other shows on the network include 3 Nice Things, where we force ourselves to say 3 nice things about a movie with a bad and often earned reputation. I'm excited for Pluto Nash.
Why?
I'm ready.
No one was.
I'm ready.
And no one is.
I'm ready.
All right.
90210, here we go. A 90210 rewatch podcast hosted by a 90210 expert and a 90210 novice. Radio 64, featuring video game music remix radio and previously on X-Men. The podcast that looks back on X-Men comics, movies, shows, characters, hats, and more.
Yeah. Good hat. A good X-Men hat.
I wondered if you'd catch it.
Yeah, I did. What was I going to say about the Radio Meanwhile? It was going to be about, Radio 64. I was in a... I went into this, like, video game music quiz online, and I got 23 out of 70. Not question. I was in 23rd place out of 78, and it wasn't good enough. I was so upset. Yeah. My wife is trying to be like, you placed in the top whatever percent, and I'm like, 23. I was so mad, and it was annoying because there was a Kirby song, and I typed in Kirby everything, and except for Kirby Dreamland. I don't know what was wrong with me. I said Kirby Adventure at one point. I hated myself. After that, I hated myself. But what was frustrating...
How do you look at yourself?
There were 2 songs that I was like, I know this. What's it from? And it's from Batman, and then it's from Super Mario Galaxy, and they had been both featured on Radio 64 like recently. So I was just I hated myself. So.
Hey, are there any Star Trek video game music remix tracks? I keep waiting.
Yeah.
Because they just put out a whole
These
album
are the
of Star Trek.
Voyages.
They just put out this whole album of Star Trek video game music, so I finally got the theme song to Star Trek Voyager Elite Force.
Hey,
so
you love Elite Force. All I'm saying is,
remix it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's talk comic books.
Let's do it.
No more about me complaining about how I don't know the subtitles to Kirby games.
Yeah. I had a weird week in reading.
Yeah.
I have kind of an off the wall selection
here. I had a slow week.
Okay.
Every day I'm like, I gotta finish this comic book or something, and then I just didn't.
Mm.
So I don't know what happened. I was kind of like weirdly busy.
Okay.
So
Well, I'll start then.
okay,
Let's start with an oddball here.
sure.
The Legend of Luke Skywalker, the manga by
Hmm.
Akira Himekawa, based on the novel by Ken Liu. So it's a young adult novel, and they made a manga out of this. And the
Yeah,
premise,
the
go
cover
ahead.
for the young adult thing is like red and white
It is, yeah,
primarily because it was
yeah,
going after the color scheme for Last Jedi. I think was
yeah,
when the book was released.
yeah.
Okay, but you
So
read the manga.
yeah, I did read the manga. Yeah, what it is they take like it's people like talking about Luke Skywalker and getting the story wrong. So it's all these like alternate takes on Luke Skywalker. And I think it's a really cool idea. But at least the ones adapted to the manga, 3 out of 4, I just thought like kind of missed the mark, which was
Okay.
surprising. So I'm just going to talk about one that was
Okay.
called I Droid, and it was this one that was
Droid.
that imagined it so that like Luke was actually C3PO. Like C3PO was just a costume that Luke was wearing. So it like blended the R2D2 C3PO stuff with what Luke was doing. And so he has a whole thing where he frees all of these droids, like gets rid of their restraining bolts and stuff. That one I thought was cool. And actually it was kind of a believable thing where people were telling this story over and over again and it got like convoluted and confused. That was the one I thought was really successful. The other 3, kind of a no.
Okay.
Kind of a no. Yeah.
How's the art in it though? Like the cover's cool.
The cover's great.
Yeah.
I don't think the inside art stands up to the promise of that cover.
Okay.
But it's decent. It's
All right.
decent throughout. Anyway.
That reminds me of that like weirdly good C3PO comic, that like one shot.
Yes. About the red arm.
Yeah, about how he has his red arm. It's just it just like kind of comes out of nowhere at the end, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's very touching. It's weirdly touching.
Not just about like the other droids, but about like C3PO and how like his memory's been wiped.
Yeah.
It was shocking.
I know it was. And what's funny is there's the Lego Force Awakens game, there's a DLC level that's that C3PO arms story.
Yeah.
And we played it and I was like, no, because this is actually a very sad story, because it was. But that, if you're looking for that C3PO story, it's collected in the Greg Rucka's Shattered Empire. It's like a bonus feature in that hardcover
what was the
graphic
issue
novel.
called? It was just called Star Wars.
I think it's just C3PO, C3PO issue 1. Yeah.
But
very good.
Yeah, that was a weirdly compelling good comic about C3PO.
It was. Yeah.
Let's see. So I read Deadshot. I read Deadshot. When did this was like 1988 when this came out. It's written by John Ostrander, and Luke McDonnell, who's the artist for Suicide Squad, comes over as well. The premise of this is that Deadshot needs time off from the Suicide Squad because his son has been kidnapped. We find out that his wife hasn't changed her name or anything, so it's pretty easy to find her because she's hoping that Floyd will come home sometime and take him back. He's like, that's stupid, you're stupid. So his son gets kidnapped. And it's basically like him trying to figure it out. And also his therapist is like following him because she has lost that psychological objectivity. She's invested in him, like in love with him. And so it's this whole story. It's very dark in a way that only like 80s DC can get. At the end, when he takes out a guy, it's like 2 pages of him just torturing him by like shooting him in different places. And the guy is not like all right in the head. So it's a very dark scene. I put the spoiler tag up there, but I haven't decided if I should spoil this, and I don't think I'm going to, because I know it's an old comic, but I feel like if you want to read a Deadshot comic, you should read this because it gets into his death wish like nature. But there's some twists and turns in here I don't want to spoil in case you want to read this. So I was tempted, but yeah, it's a dark story. But I enjoyed it. It's 4 issues.
the newer Suicide Squad stuff was doing individual issues dedicated to each member. I believe there was a Deadshot run when I didn't read it, but I did read the El Diablo one, and it was just kind of odd. Like it just didn't quite land for me.
Well, that's the team that's chasing after the movie cast setup.
Yeah, definitely. So this was not a Will Smith Deadshot.
No. This is if you're reading Suicide Squad. Like at one point they're like, "Where's Deadshot? Read his series." I'm like, "All right, I've got the DC app right now. I can do that."
So you did it.
So it's collected under Deadshot Beginnings is the trade.
Hey, speaking of the DC movies, how about Affleck coming back for the new Flash movie?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was shocking. To me that was more shocking than Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest.
It is shocking. I really thought he was done.
I'm excited for it.
I mean, it's all attached to the Flash movie, and that's one of those things where like. I won't believe it until I see it. And you know what? I used to say I won't believe a movie's happening until I see its trailer, and then New Mutants released the trailer, and I'm like, okay. So apparently New Mutants, at time of recording, Nick, 5 days from now, they're saying buy your tickets. And I'm like, who's buying their tickets? I think New Mutants, I think Disney is just going ahead with New Mutants because they had to take New Mutants when they bought Fox, and I think they were going to put it out as a write-off. And they're going to be able to say nobody saw the movie because of the virus, and then they're going to be able to control the narrative about like the low box office, as opposed to a full summer normal theater life, and it would have bombed anyway. So I think that's the reason why they're just going to put it out anyways. Like, we're actually surprised and happy with the results because of and now you can pay $30 to rent it.
Yeah,
on Disney.
I hope
Plus
if it comes to the drive-in that's near us. I hope.
Yeah, if it's at a drive-in, I'd go see it. It's crazy to think this will be the first X-Men movie I don't see in theaters.
Oh yeah.
So even the Jurassic Park movies, I didn't get to see the first movie in theaters' its original run. I had to wait until they re-released it.
Yeah.
But yeah, every X-Men movie I've been to the theaters at least once or twice. So I saw X-Men 3 times in theaters.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Hey, I've got a light comic book week, so let's just quickly go through it. Did you watch the new Wonder Woman trailer?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah.
I didn't watch it because we were supposed to get that movie in November, and then it was supposed to come out in the summer, so I've been avoiding it because I thought their last trailer was awesome, and I don't need any more footage spoiled for me. Yeah. But did you like it?
No, I did like it. I wasn't really like intending to watch it either. I saw it on Instagram and I was just like, yeah, okay. But yeah, I mean, I'm all in. I've been in for this movie the whole time. This is actually a great segue for something that I wanted to show you.
Okay.
And that is Sweet Tarts.
Man, if you
golden lassos right here.
If you want Nick to buy your snack product, just put movie tie-ins on top of it. He has gotten mad at me in stores when I don't buy something that has a tie-in on it. He's like, you love Jurassic Park, you love Apple Jacks.
Just buy these Smarties. Anyway, so these Sweet Tart golden lassos, which you're absolutely right. I would never buy these before. Let's see.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're very good. They're very good, and I feel compelled to be honest now. I can't lie.
That's how we know that they're good. Yeah, those
are
the Sweet Tart lassos of truth.
What do we got?
He's also never been able to really commit in a relationship.
Tropical Punch. There it is.
Yeah.
See, I mean, you put Wonder Woman on the cover. What, am I going to not buy it?
Joss Whedon's ripped that right from the animated Kerry Russell. Remember that? Like, you have Nathan Fillion's Steve Trevor, like, talking about how he's never been able to commit to a relationship. He's scared, and then he realizes his foot's in the lasso, and then they just do that with Aquaman. And, man, Joss Whedon's Justice League. Speaking of, did you watch the Snyder Cut Justice League trailer? I did. It's all to the song Hallelujah. The Leonard Cohen Hallelujah. It's take this as filthy as I mean it to. Zack Snyder is editing that film with one hand in his pocket.
Yikes.
Yeah, that it is. Everyone who wants this movie to come out, fine, more power to you. But with this trailer releasing, it's like, do you like bad CGI Darkseid? Good news. Do you like? It's just I can't. And
now with more Steppenwolf.
The problem with this being a thing for me is also they released a trailer, not gameplay wise, but a trailer for a Suicide Squad game that's coming out in 2022, and they're like, and it's gonna be Suicide Squad having to fight Superman in the Justice League because Brainiac has taken them over, but it has like Superman with his evil eyes and everything, and they're like, and I'm just like. people are like, whoa, a dark Superman. I'm like, evil Superman is the default these days.
True.
Do not act like evil Superman is your new edgy take on Superman. At this point, doing the Boy Scout Superman is you taking a chance.
Yeah, everybody's like, well, that's a weird throwback.
So, what was there any other? Did you watch any of this new Suicide Squad movie stuff? It was a behind the scenes like footage thing with like, oh, what do we talk about when we say film? We're hoping to not just go beyond the boundaries, but define boundaries. You know,
no, I didn't see it.
All right, and there was the roll call.
And I know that Justice League Dark Apocalypse War is on the DC app now, but I hadn't seen the first Justice League Dark. And J.M. DeMatteis' Deathstroke animated thing finally came out.
Dark is on the DC app now.
Yeah.
Okay, I was waiting for that. Okay, I need to watch that.
But I also saw that Superman, A Man of Tomorrow, just like dropped, and that I kind of forgot that was even a thing. Yeah. But
is that on the DC app?
It's not.
Okay.
No, but it's out now. But I still haven't seen Red Sun either.
Yeah, I haven't watched Red Sun, but I do have to watch Justice League Dark War on Apocalypse.
Yeah, I need to watch them all.
All right.
Well, before we get too far away from Wonder Woman, let me tell you the Wonder Woman thing that I read this week.
Okay.
I read Diana, Princess of the Amazons by Shannon and Dean Hale with illustrations by Victoria Ying. So this was one that I checked out for my son, actually. It's more of a middle grade graphic novel, and it's about a young Diana on Paradise Island being bummed out that she's the only kid. And so she's trying to make that work. What?
You had started this.
No, we just talked about it on the All the Book Show.
Oh, boy, I'm getting the streams are crossing now, yes.
I know.
Check out the All the Book Show, recording the official podcast of the David A. Howe Public Library.
Funny about it is on the cover, she has the red and blue outfit. She looks like, even though she's young, she looks very Wonder Woman-y. That is not on the inside at all. So the inside, the illustrations I thought were really pretty drab because everyone is just wearing like a plain white like toga dress. Yeah. And it's all, it's just like sand and rocks. It's a very, very drab book on the inside. The story's good. And Wonder Woman, or Diana, I guess, makes a friend like out of clay, because that's how she was made, Sure. And this friend suddenly comes to life, but like what's behind this clay friend is kind of a twist in the book. And it works pretty well. It
turns out it's just a putty designed by Rita Repulsa.
Yep. It's
make Diana's friend bigger.
So, the intended age group for this is probably like 10 to 12. My son liked it. I liked it. I thought it was a fun, quick little
I've seen this
DC
cover
Junior read
so many times, and I'm only now just put together that's a cheetah on the cover.
Oh, I didn't think about that really either.
Boy, first day on the job here for me.
I know. I guess so. What else you got on your list today?
All right. Well, I'll talk about Suicide Squad again because I was reading Deadshot because I was reading more Suicide Squad, the 80s Suicide Squad by John Ostrander, Luke McDonnell.
Keep going, but I'm going to have a few more of these golden lassos.
Okay. This graphic novel, this is collected in Volume 3, Rogues, which is like issues 17 and 25.
Hey, y'all, it's me, Rogue.
Yeah, that Rogue specifically shows up here.
Wow.
This one was kind of a mixed bag. Some less compelling stories, but this also has the storyline that deals with like Rick Flag going rogue. After,
you love Rick Flag.
So some senators have found out about Suicide Squad or are threatening to go public about it if Amanda Waller doesn't kill an opponent that's running against them. So Rick Flag goes rogue.
Yeah.
And
the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, like the Mission Impossible movies. And so Rick Flag goes rogue, and so Amanda Waller's just like, do not let Rick I keep saying Rick Flag. It sounds like a fake name because it is. But anyway, she tells the Suicide Squad, stop Rick Flag from killing this guy no matter what. And it's funny because there are some villains on this, not really villains. There are some people on this team who are heroes but are like repentant and everything. And they're like, I'm not going after Rick Flag. That's crazy. And Amanda Waller's like, do you want the others to go after him? Because I didn't say bring him in alive. And like you see Deadshot and Captain Boomerang like, ha ha ha. So Bronze Tiger and Vixen decide they're going to go after him too.
Okay.
I am going to spoil this one.
Okay.
It's been spoiled before because it's if you've known about this, so I'll put a spoiler tag in here. So if you don't want this storyline specifically to be spoiled, tune out for a bit. But the twist is Deadshot is the one who gets there first. And I think this is why the story is considered as good as it is. Deadshot gets there first, and he's got his line on Rick Flag. And Rick Flag has a gun on the Senator. And Deadshot's like, it is aiming at Rick Flag. He's like, Amanda Waller said, don't let you kill him by any means possible. And then Deadshot kills the Senator.
Whoa.
Which protects Suicide Squad and stops Rick Flag from going over that line.
Wow.
But then Rick Flag is like, get out of here! And like the police show up, and so they don't see Rick Flag, and Deadshot has a shootout with the police, and he gets all shot up.
Intense.
Yeah. But it's a great like Deadshot moment.
Yeah.
Where you realize he is a villain, but he's not. Yeah, maybe. So
maybe.
Yeah, if Captain Boomerang had gotten there first, he would have killed him.
I guess so.
Yeah, it had some good moments. It's not as strong as some of the other stuff, but that like whole storyline was pretty good.
Okay.
So I'll take the spoiler tag off now because I'm done spoiling it.
You know what? I forgot something that I should have mentioned earlier when you were asking about superhero things I've watched. My wife and I have gotten into Runaways.
Oh yeah, on Hulu?
Yeah, it's good. Have you seen it?
We haven't watched it yet. No.
I read one volume of Runaways, the one that was written by Rainbow Rowell. It was not a good starting point, so like I'm not familiar with these characters at all, but we're really digging the show.
Right.
Let me tell you about the Archies.
So you never read the Brian K. Vaughan stuff?
No.
Man, that's like that's the good stuff. I still have that. That's like
my wife has read them all. I never did.
It's the first run by Brian K. Vaughan. It's only 18 issues. I got this at like it's great. And then there's like a sequel series he does that's very good. Joss Whedon took over it later, and guess what? It wasn't that great. It's almost like Joss Whedon isn't that great when he's by himself. Oops. And maybe he's not that great of a person.
Wow.
So anyway,
maybe.
I'm not into Joss Whedon these days.
I heard
couple of years, really since Astonishing X-Men, and then vindicated by finding out he might be a terrible person.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I signed up for the trial of the Archie Unlimited app.
And you know what? Know that, yeah.
I got to give them props because I got an email from the Archie app being like, hey, man, your free subscription's about to end, so cancel now if you don't want to get charged. And I was like, good for you. You know, I like that upfront honesty. It's what I would expect from my boy Archie.
And then you're like, 1 year subscription, please.
Yeah. I was like, how do I pay forever? Is that possible?
Yeah. We've never had a lifetime member before.
Just keep it coming.
Would you like to meet Mr. Archie? Hi, Nick. I'm the basis of Archie.
Outside of the horror stuff, so there's like Vampironica and Jughead the Hunger and Blossom 666. I haven't read the horror stuff or Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Too scared, yeah.
But everything else, the one outlier was the Archies series. So it's maybe 10 issues. I don't even think it's that many. Just about like the band, the Archies.
Yeah,
that was the last of the current Archies that I hadn't read, and so I read both volumes of that. I had a good time. You know, the first volume is it's very simple. It's not particularly like clever or funny. It's just kind of like the Archies getting a band together and going on the road. One thing that I think is a really cool element to the series is that each issue has its own like curated Spotify playlist with the links provided, so you can go and like listen to the playlist. And it's not Archie's songs; it's just songs that fit with the theme of the episode. So there was all sorts of it was a pretty eclectic mix of music there. So that was pretty neat. A lot of little hidden Easter eggs about like the clothes they're wearing and stuff. I sent you a picture. Did you get the picture I sent you?
The Gorillas shirt?
Yeah. Archie's wearing, or Reggie's is wearing a Gorillas shirt at some point.
Smart.
But there was a lot of real life bands cameoing. But of course, the one I have to mention in volume 2 is the Monkees. It's like the new traditional Archie art, but Archie gets hit in the head by a shoe and like falls over. And it turns into the classic Archie art, and they run into the Monkees, and Davy Jones is getting kidnapped, so they all put on their superhero costumes and go after Davy Jones. And then for the rest of the series...
Does that track? Is Davy Jones the one who would be kidnapped?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And they keep making references for the rest of the series about, and remember that like weird Monkees dream? What was that all about? So pretty fun.
You just read Archie's and Josie and the Pussycats.
I did. Archie and Valerie.
Yeah, does that connect to these? Like, is that part?
No, because
It's a
the ones
separate
I read last week
thing?
were set in like the classic Archie
Oh, okay.
universe,
All
and
right.
the ones now are set in more like the Mark
Yeah.
Waid and others, Nick
The
Spencer
Archie's
Archie.
616 universe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you know what? I read both volumes. I had a good time. I mean, I saw Archie singing into the same mic as Mike Nesmith, so it was a good times were had by all.
Yeah. All right. Um, I finished Charles Soule's Daredevil run.
Oh, you love it.
It ends with Volume 8, The Death of Daredevil, the graphic novel wise. So what is that? That's issue 606 through 612 is what I read. Charles Soule, Phil Noto is the illustrator throughout it. So the first 3 issues are bizarro because Charles Soule makes a crazy choice. And have you ever read any of the early Stan Lee Daredevil?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, early on, people were like, did you ever notice Matt Murdock and Daredevil aren't in the same room together? And maybe they have a similar physique and all this stuff. And Matt Murdock's like, oh no, my friends are going to figure out my secret identity. What crazy Silver Age thing can I do that might actually seem like very self-destructive and psychologically questionable?
Yeah.
So in those Stan Lee issues, Matt Murdock changes his entire outfit, puts on one of those like he's going to a Cuban casino, those straw hat kind of thing, and he's like, hi everybody, I'm Matt's twin brother Mike Murdock.
Oh my gosh,
I'm crazy, I'm so hip with it, watch me juggle, I'm not blind.
That's
hey Karen, what's up pussycat? Whoa, it's all over the place. And at first the characters act correctly, and they're just like, Matt, this is weird. We know it's you, Matt. This is weird. And he's like, what are you talking about? Can Matt do this? Woohoo! And they're just, and sooner they start believing it, which is crazy. It's just crazy. That is crazy. And because Foggy is just like, I've never heard tell of your brother until now. We have been best friends forever.
Yeah.
And so that's a crazy thing. And writers have rightly ignored that section of Daredevil history. Charles Soule is like, no way.
He's
and
back.
So there's a character in this book who he can make something real if he reads it, and he falls asleep while reading
Stanley's Daredevil.
falls asleep while reading Matt's notes about Mike Murdock.
Okay.
And it makes Mike Murdock real. And so
Finally.
now Matt's made up twin brother Mike is a real character, and this series doesn't write him out either. So I haven't read past this, so I guess Mike Murdock's just in the universe. But it's one of those things like, oh, now we should be connected to Mike. But he's only existed for 3 issues now.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Anyway.
What a weird.
It's weird to do that so late in your run.
It is really strange.
It's such a crazy thing to bring back.
Let's bring up an imaginary twin brother.
Anyway,
let's bring it back.
And then the last 3 issues are kind of Daredevil tying up some loose ends, but the series ends on a really, the last 3 issues are kind of a weak note. The whole idea that Kingpin is mayor and maybe he rigged the election, it's not really dealt with dramatically, or it just that whole storyline just ends, and it's just weird because Charles Soule seems like he had a vision when you start the series. It seems like he had direction and a vision, and he knew what he wanted to do. But then you
stop eating these.
Then you get to the last 2 volumes, really, the last 12 issues, and it's almost like, did Marvel renew his contract when he was ready to leave or something? Yeah, I just the last 3 issues don't really do much. I mean, they just kind of reiterate I'm Daredevil and I'm always gonna fight, But I don't know. It's hard. They show every time now somebody tries to make a callback to past things with Elektra, the whole Bullseye killing Elektra thing. It just doesn't matter anymore because she's been resurrected 5 to 20 times. In that span of 5
classic
to 20.
Could be 15. Could be 6.
Yep. She's been resurrected. She's back. That death means nothing unless all you do is read the Frank Miller Daredevil. And then stop. Then that death means something. But in 2020, that shot is just iconic because somebody drew it once now. Continuity has made it a non-issue these days. So like he tries to call back to that stuff. The only death that still really like kind of hits is Karen because of the Kevin Smith run, because they just haven't but I mean when I was reading that, I'm like, oh, you're gonna bring back Karen now, Charles? So he didn't, but there's that fear now in general. But gosh, you liked this, and it seemed like a lot of people did like Charles Soule's. You liked what you read of like the first...
I mean, I read maybe like one volume with no other context.
It seemed like some people really did like this run. It doesn't seem like people loved the way it ended as much, but just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean it might not. He does a very specific type of story. The art is very unique throughout, so it's not one that I wouldn't say don't read. It just didn't really click with me. This whole Charles Soule's run. It's not one that I feel like I need to reread. But again, Daredevil's nice in that you can just kind of read from beginning until now, and it all just tells like one story. So
that's handy.
The whole him making the world forget his identity thing is just, I've seen it before with other heroes, and it didn't need to happen. It just creates this sense of like, been here, done that, without any real, I don't know, no work was done, I guess it feels like. It's just, ugh. When even like Foggy, because then it happens with Spider-Man too, where like, look at this, I'm actually Spider-Man, I'm actually Daredevil. It's like, well, we've already had the dramatic unmaskings with these characters in front of their friends a million times before. You can't put that genie back in the bottle.
No.
Anyway, I've been on this and the X-Men podcast and on other things, I've been really kind of existentially dealing with long-form continuity in 2020. So.
Seems like you're working through some stuff.
So, what else?
Speaking of Daredevil and things not clicking, we tried to watch. We loved. My wife is a huge Jessica Jones fan. We only watched the first season. We were gonna watch more. We were like, should we watch The Defenders? Even though we haven't watched other things, we started Jessica Jones season 2, and just so not interested in doing like a Jessica Jones origin story. I don't know why they would go that route.
Yeah,
and
strange.
I doubt we're gonna stick with it. Did you ever watch any farther?
I gave up with the Marvel shows right after The Defenders. I didn't even finish Daredevil season 3 because I just couldn't do the violence anymore.
Yeah.
It's too gruesome. It's really stuck with me. I kind of harken it back to Fargo and then the like Marvel shows. But yeah, I can't. After Iron Fist, the show where the guy who plays Faramir kills a guy with an ice cream scoop, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I don't need to see somebody fall to his knees and then continually bash in a head anymore.
Yeah. You probably don't.
And so, like, I'm bummed because I hear good things about season 3 of Daredevil, but like watching 2 episodes, I'm like, you know what? I can't do this to myself. It does
I get it.
Something to me in a way. I don't think it really. So I've never watched the Punisher show, but I've only watched the first season of Luke Cage. I gave up on Iron Fist. It was so bad.
What about the Dolph Lundgren Punisher? Have you watched that?
No, it's weird. I can watch. Like, the movies are different because it's such, like, a big, extreme, like, over-the-top thing. Whereas, like, these Marvel shows are like, hey, did you know a stapler can be used as a bludgeoning device? You know what I mean? It's just... Yeah. They just turn every day. I just can't do it. So it's too much for me.
Let's go to the 1960s with my next thing, though. Okay. Maybe this will cheer
me up. The 60s,
This was a hot mess.
Yeah.
I read,
hot mess.
It's actually called The Hawk and the Dove.
Yeah, are they ever called The Hawk and the Dove
The Hawk
again?
And the Dove. In the very first series, I think, is the only time they ever do this. But this is such a weird thing. So it's Don and Hank Hall, created by Steve Ditko and Steve Skeets. And it is... Their dad is a judge. They are bestowed with these powers, and the powers, they don't have a lot of control over them. It's like, if there's an injustice, you will become the hawk or the dove. Mm-hmm. When the injustice is fixed, you will not be this character anymore. Uh-huh. So, like, some stuff
Wait. Does Wonder Woman have to show up to turn Hawk into a dove?
Oh, she could stop a war with love. That's for sure. She could do that.
In those old red, white, and blues.
So the problem that I had with this is twofold. One,
you hate Hawk and you hate Dove.
6 issues.
All right.
And there was some backups. There was like a Teen Titans and like a DC Presents to kind of flesh it out a little bit. But Steve, what's his name? Spider-Man. What's that one?
Steve
Ditko. Steve Ditko's only there for the first two.
Who's doing
and
this
it does
cover art?
get
Is
a
that
little
Darwin
better.
Cook?
It does look like a Darwin Cook cover, yeah. It gets a little better when Steve Ditko moves on, but the problem is that the two characters are they just bicker constantly.
Sure.
They just bicker.
A fly flies are
my
like
gosh.
going through your camera. It's terrifying.
Sorry,
it's like, Nick, get out of the room. They're in there with you.
They bicker constantly. Okay, They bicker constantly. And it seems to me that they were not particularly clear about what a dove is, because like Hawk was just like over the top aggressive, like, we gotta get in there and break everything. Yeah. And Dove was like, I'm scared, I don't want to. So he's like comically cowardly, and Hawk is just like, like throwing TVs through picture windows and stuff, being like, Argh! So it's mostly these two characters just hating each other for 6 issues.
Okay.
So it was
there was a Justice League Unlimited episode that had the two characters in there. It was a Hawk and Dove, and Wonder Woman was kind of Wonder Woman is getting like fed up with life and with war. It's they're in this this country that's having a civil war, and Wonder Woman is like, I'm so sick of this. And Hawk and Dove are like there. And yeah, just in the comic, Hawk, they play it differently. Hawk is, yes, he's very aggressive, might makes right kind of thing. What they do with Dove in the show is they make him more of a pacifist, not like scared. He just says, for him, problems can be solved without violence. And so like the episode resolves with like civil war, and Dove is like going out into the middle of the battlefield and like, don't do this, you guys are the same people, and all this stuff. And so I thought that kind of emphasizes the difference more than like what you're telling me this book does.
It was just kooky. And I read Sterling Gates' New 52. I think it was New 52, maybe it was even prior to that, Hawk and Dove title, and it was decent. Like it was weird, but it was interesting. And I don't think it lasted more than maybe 6 issues, but I liked it. I would have read more than that, but this was just a mess. I read it because my son has been reading Teeny Titans or Tiny Titans, whatever one it is. I think it's Tiny Titans. And the issue that he has now has a ton of Hawk and Dove, and he kept asking me questions about Hawk and Dove, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I read this weird 60s Hawk and Dove.
Okay.
And I might read the 80s one. The 80s one is supposed to be better. And I feel like now I've read New 52 and the classic. I gotta go.
I imagine
80s.
The 80s one is post-crisis then?
Probably, yeah.
God, these flies I see them, and like somehow I'm scared to be in the room with them. But
I'm sorry. I mean, no. I don't even. Okay.
It's like Monster Movie. They're just, because they're so close to the camera, they look like these giant flies. You think nuclear power was going to save you, but the flies have come. All right, the last comic.
I did.
The last comic I read. I read. What is this? What's the full title? Dr. Star in the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows, by Jeff Lemire. This is another one of the In the World of Black Hammer. So this is a Black Hammer tie-in. I don't know how it's going to tie in with like Black Hammer proper. So we'll see. But this is actually the best of these like side stories I've read, because
that's good.
It isn't really dealing with the fact that the those characters are gone. It's not dealing with the fact that the characters are missing and disappeared, and are they dead or are they alive? Can we find them? It's just dealing with this like story of this guy who discovers a technology to get into this this star zone, into this the star energy. He's able to like find it gives him powers, and he's basically kind of like DC's Starman. So he's having adventures, and his wife's like, "Come home and stay with us," And I'll put some spoiler tags up here.
Do it.
So if you don't want this specific story spoiled for you, mute or something, and I'll then when the spoiler tag's gone, you can unmute. But the idea is that an alien race like calls out to him, and so he goes to visit these aliens, and there's like this dragon creature that comes and is like destroying their people, and they're like a very pacifistic people. They don't know war, they don't know how to fight, they can heal each other, but they can't defend themselves. So Dr. Star goes to take out that dragon, but the dragon is like in a basically inside of a black hole. And so he does that, and he comes back and he realizes that time has changed, because of the time dilation. So he goes back home, and his wife is now like in her 60s, and his son has grown up, and they both hate him and don't want any part of him. And he's like, but I was changing the world and everything. And his son is dying of cancer, and he can't really do anything. And his son, when he was a kid, was like, can you take me flying? He's like, later. But that later never came. And then it kind of, there's some resolution between him and his son. We find out that other alien species discovered what he had learned and were inspired by him. And so they kind of become like this universe Green Lantern Corps of like Starmen. And yeah, it's just one of those like sad superhero archetype stories. This one felt very much more like something you'd read in Astro City in some ways. But yeah, it's a sad one, but I think because it's standalone, it's more focused. It was good. It went for the heartstrings.
Okay.
So
nice.
Spoiler. So now I have Black Hammer 45, which is like the team in 1945. And then I can get back to like the Black Hammer story, I think, which is called Age of Doom.
You are required to read the Justice League crossover.
Yeah, I'll do that. Well. Yeah.
That's
all right. I'll take
necessary.
The spoilers tag off now. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was your last, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give you two real quick.
Okay.
I read Marvel Masterworks Black Panther Volume 1 by Don McGregor, illustrated by Rich Buckler and Billy Graham, not the noted evangelist Billy Graham, but a different Billy Graham. I started reading
what are these comic books the kids are reading? Can we find a way to evangelize to them with these comic books? Well, Billy Graham, I'm glad you asked. Marvel Comics have been...
I should do for my quarter bin sometime the Christian comics that I have, because I have a Jesus comic book. I have a Samson comic book. I'll put it in the mix. You'll never know when they'll pop up. Anyway, I started reading the Jack Kirby Black Panther, which is the first Black Panther.
Will Lot escape the city of Gamora?
Pretty much.
In this issue, somebody dies.
I think you're very close to what actually happens in those comic books. The point is, the Jack Kirby Black Panther stuff is trippy and weird, as you might expect.
Sure.
But it really tosses you in. And so I read maybe 2.5 issues of that and was like, I got to go back farther because this isn't making sense to me. So I went back and read what's collected in Marvel Masterworks Black Panther Volume 1. And that was more the title, I think, was Jungle Stories or Jungle Adventures, something like that. And these are much more akin to, like, Conan the Barbarian or John Carter of Mars, Tarzan kind of stuff than they are superheroes. Right. Little to no like crossover with the regular Marvel universe, but it does have the introduction of Killmonger, and it really collects two stories. One where it's just Black Panther sort of on the outs, warring with Killmonger. The second one is like Black Panther versus the Ku Klux Klan. So it was intense.
Yeah.
It wasn't a particularly fun read, and it was like very, very wordy. Okay. Like it was the kind where it's like it could have been a novel. If you added just a little bit more context to it. So I'm glad to have read it. Didn't particularly enjoy it. I was having more fun with Jack Kirby, so I'll probably do that. Okay. Next.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at Black Panther. I was laughing. Just your Christian comics were making me laugh. I was like, welcome to the Disciples, Peter. Hope you survived the experience. Sorry.
Do you remember Salty the Singing Songbook?
No.
I'll fill you in sometime.
All right. What was the other thing you read then?
Justice League of America Volume 3, Panic in the Microverse.
Yeah.
By Steve Orlando and Ivan Reis.
I prefer to panic at the disco if I'm going to choose a location to panic.
That's a better place. Yeah, you want to panic at the disco.
Viewers, I apologize for these giant flies. I don't know.
Are they back still?
No, Are these fruit flies or are these like straight up
just
flies?
Like house flies.
Okay.
So the back door was open because the dogs were going in and out, so that's probably why they came in here.
No, I mean, it's fine as long as you feel safe.
I do. So I started reading this series forever ago because I read DC put out a collection called Legends of Tomorrow, The Atom, and it was just a bunch of Ray Palmer stories, like from across Ray Palmer's history. And the last was kind of a teaser for this series where Ray Palmer goes missing again.
Oh, man.
I know.
It happens when you're so tiny. You just, He should wear a little beeper that people can press and be like,
Ray,
he's in the couch cushions again.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's not been a great series. It's a weird team. It's like,
well, this is Batman's response to the Suicide Squad. Basically.
Yeah, it's Batman and Black Canary and Lobo and
Killer
the
Frost.
other Adam, Ryan Chow, and so it was kind of bad. And this was almost like, I don't know. I found the microverse that they went into kind of unimaginative, I should say,
sure.
because it was really just like we're on an alien world.
Oh yeah.
Like there wasn't anything that was like we're at a subatomic level.
Is that not par for course with the micro realm that they're normally in with Adam?
I think it probably is, but I don't know. When you look at things like Ant-Man, they just do a lot more like trippy stuff with the microverse, and I find that much more interesting than just like a sci-fi story. Sure. So I was a little disappointed.
What about Micro Machines or something like Mighty Max?
Yeah.
Would you like a Mighty Max situation?
Sure. Yeah, I had so many Micro Machines when I was a kid. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I had a big old tub of Micro Machines.
Yeah. If only you were like the Atom and you could have shrunk down, and then they would have been normal machines.
I have some news that I want to share with you, and I need listener feedback, viewer feedback on this one. Eric, I got a Switch.
Whoa!
I know.
Congrats.
And my wife and I started playing Ultimate Alliance.
You were close to buying a Switch when they first released that.
For years, I feel like I've been close to buying. But finally, we were just like, you know what?
Yeah.
This world.
Dude, you're one of those. You're one of those people now. You got all 3 consoles.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. I'm so hip.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, Ultimate Alliance 3, spoiler alert, kind of sucks. Have you heard this?
I have heard not great things. The best things I've heard is that it's fine.
It's like, to me, it's a major step back from like even X-Men Legends, which was GameCube era.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like I had X-Men Legends 1 and 2 on PS2, and they started that whole thing, yeah.
The graphics looks like a mobile game for one.
Wow.
Like it's real bad.
Sure.
And being on the TV, like it is next to like you go into these levels, like it starts in this prison and you're in this prison, everyone's in an orange jumpsuit, there's like 40 characters, it's impossible to tell which character you are. I don't know. We were both, my wife and I both were just like very disappointed with this, so we're gonna stick it out. But I just wanted to know if I was crazy or if everybody was having this experience that Ultimate Alliance 3 kind of sucks.
You should have told me. I guess you wanted my reaction on a stream, because now
I did,
have for it. I don't know. I haven't played it, but I haven't heard fantastic things about it.
Okay.
At the library for the teen programs, I almost got it for the Switch, but it was a little pricey. And I also kind of heard, not so great things about it. You could play 4 players, and like you could play with people who have a Switch with them next to them. So, but yeah, on the TV, it still doesn't look good. Does it look better really on the Switch itself?
I haven't tried it that way, but it's possible.
But then everything will be smaller, so like figure out who you are would be more annoying.
Yeah, it would be. It's just, I don't know. Everything about it, like, you fight so many bosses, and it's this frustrating thing where every boss, and even some of the bigger, just like brawling bad guys that you play in level, they have a purple, like, stun gauge, and before you can touch their health, you got to get the stun gauge all the way down. But then that gauge fills back up, and so you have to get it back down again before you can touch their health. So even, like, in the early stages, the boss battles are just relentless. Yeah. So I'm majorly disappointed because this was like the driving force behind getting a Switch.
At least now you have a Switch, so you can play Luigi's Mansion.
Yes.
You're excited for that. You can play...
actually, so excited about Yoshi, for one, because I love those Yoshi games.
I think they're remaking the Luigi's Mansion that was on the DS for the Switch. I think they're remastering it. But now you can play Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, I do want to
play Mario Kart 8. Odyssey,
right.
Odyssey, yeah. They're talking about like a Mario remaster coming out with the Galaxy games.
Okay.
But
I actually want to play one of those. I've never played a Zelda game, but they look so cool on there. I like the one where he's like a little sprite.
Oh yeah, that's the Link's Awakening remake.
Yeah.
It was a Game Boy like original game, which is great.
Yeah.
It's a great game. So a lot of people really like the new one.
I like to do that, but I instantly downloaded Jay and Silent Bob's Mall Brawl, which is just Double Dragon. That's all it is.
Oh, you know what?
My son and I had been playing Mega Man 11.
Oh, sure.
Which is pretty cool. Looks pretty good.
Your wife loved Horizon Zero Dawn.
She did.
She might enjoy Zelda Breath of the Wild that's on there.
Oh, okay.
They're similar types of games. And some people say that like Zelda just like changed the game with
Wow.
with that genre. So
okay,
if you
she's been looking for a game since Horizon.
Yeah.
All right, shall we get to our recurring bits?
Yeah. Though real quick, also since I was light on comics, did you watch the Batman trailer?
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
I tend not to. It was just kind of a fluke that I watched the Wonder Woman one. How does it look?
It was just a teaser trailer, more like proof of concept than trailer.
Okay.
The costume looks cool. The Batman costume looks cool. It ends with like somebody be like, "Who the frick are you, guy in a bat costume?" And Pattinson just beats the living crap out of him with his fist, like to the point where I thought it was going to be a Marvel TV show in a second. I was like, it was brutal. And it's funny though, when he's not in costume, Robert Pattinson just kind of looks like Brendan Lee as the Crow.
Interesting.
Like, especially, there's a scene where he's not wearing the costume, but he was just in it. So he's got that, like, dark eyes around him, because they do that. And he looks like he stepped out of The Crow. So,
that's hilarious.
It looks like, actually, the main villain is going to be the Riddler. I thought it was going to be, like, a group of them. But the way they're marketing it, it seems like it's going to be the Riddler. So even the release date...
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, the release date was $?1.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I speculate that's because Warner Brothers isn't sure if we're actually going to get a 2021.
Yeah, that's...
So they're like, maybe, we don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I did see that Black Adam is going to have a decent amount of Justice Society members in it, which is cool.
It's funny because they're like, The Rock shows off Black Adam. Like, he's been doing this for like 20 years at this point.
I know,
it feels
seriously.
like.
It's true.
So, and
are you doing a... Oh, go ahead.
The Rock was my pick for Bane back during the Nolan films.
Oh yeah,
I thought him and John Leguizamo as the Penguin would have been kind of cool and dark. But do you want me to open up cards? Is that what you were about to ask?
Well, I was going to ask if you were doing cards or if you were doing a Batman graphic.
All right, I haven't done a Batman graphic in a while.
Okay.
So let me do that, and we'll save up some of the cards. The comic, the Batman comic, I wanted to spotlight today specifically for you, Nick, and our viewers. Listeners, people who maybe aren't watching but are listening. Boy, I can't hit this button. Yes, I can. It's called Batman Dead to Rights is the graphic. Okay. Boy, I had this. I wasn't prepared for it. Batman Dead to Rights. It was in Batman Confidential.
Batman Confidential?
Yes.
Okay.
So Dead to Rights was just a couple of issues. Gosh, where did I even read this? I don't remember where I got this, but it was kind of... I read it like right after reading Batman Lovers and Madmen, which I talked about before. Lovers and Madmen was kind of like a take on the Joker origin. So Dead to Rights is dealing with early Batman days. And so I think it's written by Andrew Kreisberg. And the idea is that, like, it's right at the beginning. Batman brings Joker into the Gotham Police Department, and they are not equipped for this new type of criminal. And so it's a couple of issues of, like, the police department having to deal with, like, villains like the Joker now being put into their just, like, holding cells. And they can't do it. You know, they're killing people in here. They're getting out. And so it's kind of how the city has to come to terms with having to make Arkham Asylum a thing.
Okay.
So it's just kind of an interesting conversation about how Batman can capture his enemies, but he can't, like, imprison them. You know what I mean? And specifically how Gotham is like, oh wow, things are different now and changed. This isn't just the guy who was, at a bar and got into a fight. This is the clown prince of crime. I don't
know how I've never read anything from this Batman Confidential series. It really seems like I would have bumped against it sometime, but
yeah, these were issues 22 through 25, and then I think issues 29 and 30 as well. So, I just remember thinking it was a really cool look at that kind of stuff. So, yeah, if you want to see some more early day stuff, see how Arkham Asylum kind of became the go-to for Batman villains, Batman Dead to Rights is the graphic.
Do you think as a whole I would enjoy this Batman Confidential
I don't know. What else was it the...
Lovers and Madmen.
Lovers and Madmen was before, one. Yeah. And then also... No, I was thinking of Legends of the Dark Knight. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I was just picking up whatever Batman graphics I could find at the time.
Okay.
So I think what happened is I moved to Florida, and my Jacksonville library I couldn't get a card for because I was on the other side of the river in a different county, and they wouldn't let me get a card. So I went to my local library, and they didn't have new stuff, but they had so many like Batman graphics and Justice League graphics I hadn't read. So I just grabbed everything, and this was in that pile. So, you know what's funny? They look like bats when they're that close to the screen.
Yeah, it's like, a special effect. That's what it is.
For the bat,
I'm
bat
using
talk.
all of the Radio Meanwhile budget to have these.
Oh no! Somebody call up Radio 64. We can't afford the free music from Overclock Remix anymore.
All right, so for my quarter bin today, I got a real doozy.
Sure do.
It is Captain America number 408 from 1992, written by Grunwald and illustrated by Evans. It says, an Infinity War crossover, the final fate of Capwolf.
Yeah.
I have no idea what this is.
The Capwolf thing, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing that people remember. Couldn't tell you if it's fondly or not, because I have never read this stuff. But yeah, Capwolf will come up quite a bit.
Okay. This was truly bizarre.
And who's that on the cover? This like vampire bat.
Oh, I'll get there.
Okay.
I'll get there. So this is the thing though, because it is just as jarring as both that Fantastic Four with Logie Reed and the Aquaman, where he's like in the middle of a rumble.
Did you ever find out if you had read that Aquaman?
I did read Death of Princess, and I just kind of forgot that's what
that's
everything was going on.
That's so funny because like you read that issue and you're like, what's happening? But you have read the whole arc.
Many years ago.
That's
many
hilarious.
Years ago.
All right.
Yeah, and I never put the two of them together.
That's hilarious.
But this is the thing, because those were both like 70s stuff, so like squarely in the Silver Age, and like the craziness of those was fun. The craziness of this one, it's so overwritten, like that's the frustrating thing. It's just like so much dialogue, so much dialogue. Like it wasn't really particularly fun, but it was crazy. So let's get into it.
Because we're talking 1992, so like the 80s and the 90s are almost in full effect now. So I think the stuff you're describing is just stuff you get through the 90s as well. So
I think it's just really, like I've never really thought about why I love the Silver Age so much. And when you think about the fact that like Quarter Bin was my comic book, like that was all I knew, it makes perfect sense because you could pick up any of those Silver Age books, even the Aquaman one where you don't know what's going on. And it's like, it's fun, it's quick, it's illustrated nicely, and it's just a good time. Whereas this and comics of this type are so serialized and so like, this is serious that it's less fun as just to like a pick up and read kind of thing, All right. So Eric, good news. Dreadmond the werewolf is down.
Dreadmond.
So that's a relief.
Dreadmond.
But Captain America is still a werewolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because he defeated Dreadmond, you think he's not going to be a werewolf anymore?
I guess I did think that. But anyway, he needs Nightshade's help. But she is seeing to a big white wolf that's on a table. And she's working on him, and he turns back human, and it's John Jameson, son of J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, who's the man-wolf.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
that's an early Stan Lee thing. When John Jameson is coming down from space, he's somehow... I can't remember if he gets hit by... Yeah, he's basically a werewolf. He's called the man-wolf.
Is he a werewolf or a wereleopard? I can't remember.
He's a werewolf. Well, he's a man-wolf, so it's not so much
a man-wolf.
Right, it's different than a werewolf. It's a man-wolf.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Cool. All right.
Looks like a werewolf, walks like a man-wolf.
All right. So it's John Jameson, and he's doing all right. Meanwhile, there's a big hole is broken through the wall in this giant, who I was like, is that U.S. agent? But no, it's this giant, like, evil Captain America in a black costume. His
who looks like U.S. agent with that coloring.
And I don't know, like, what the deal is. It just says that he is a remnant from the Infinity War.
Okay.
That's all. That's in a footnote.
Yeah, I don't remember him in Infinity War.
Okay, yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I don't remember that either. So they get into a big fight. While they're fighting, Cap turns back into regular Steve Rogers with a sick beard.
Sure.
And things are okay. Anyway, boy, so where do we go from there? It was quite a read. Cut to the town, and Cap is talking to the mayor. He's talking about the police investigating the werewolf murders. No explanation given. I don't know why. There are still lots of werewolves in town, and it kind of looks like the townspeople are turning back human from being werewolves, though that wasn't clear based on just this one issue. John Jameson shows up and is saying goodbye to Cap, and Cap gives him a standing offer to join the Avengers at any time. So, you know.
Why wouldn't you have Batrock the Leaper turn into the bat creature?
I don't know. I don't know. Then a guy in a leather jacket shows up on a space motorcycle, and Captain America asks if he can tow his space motorcycle, and he does. So meanwhile in New York
Thank
City,
goodness.
I know. Meanwhile in New York City, Dennis Dumphy, and I don't know who that is.
Sure, Dennis Dumphy.
Just
I'll do a quick research.
Okay, thank you. He's sitting on the banks of some water in Central Park, and an evil Wolverine pops out. And he's got like a big O on his chest, and he's like, "I'm your demon." And it looks like maybe they're both killed. The end.
Dennis Dumphy is Demolition Man.
Okay.
Yes, who looks just like Wolverine, except he's got like a Daredevil costume. It's weird. It's like the Daredevil yellow Daredevil costume, but then Wolverine's mask.
Wait, because Dennis Dumphy and this Wolverine thing were both there.
Weird.
So is it like this? Is it the same as the Captain America thing then?
Maybe.
Where it's like some dark Infinity War version? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read Infinity War, and I don't remember that. So.
Okay.
Anywho, in a backup story, we have Falcon, and he spots some dude flying an Avengers Sky Cycle, and he moves to apprehend him. Well, it turns out Leather Jacket Man, probably the same guy from earlier who picked up
Leather
Cap.
Jacket Man is so 90s.
I know. He's Zach Unhunter, and he's applied to be Cap's driver, and he's currently on like a job interview, basically, showing that he can drive this Sky Cycle. So whatever. Back at Avengers HQ, Cap and Black Widow are discussing that, like, now that the Infinity War is kind of settled, they have to find all of their friends who are missing. Falcon shows up. They are in love with his new outfit. They love Falcon's new outfit, right? Cap takes Sam aside. I assume it's Sam Wilson. Takes him aside and says, like, look, dude, I got to take a leave from the Avengers because I need to find my friends. You're the only friend I have left, so I got to go out there and do it. And Falcon thinks it's time for an old Captain America and the Falcon team up.
Sure.
And maybe they're going to go off together. The end.
The end.
Also,
Weird.
Monica Rambeau's Captain Marvel cameos in this. So I was like, hey, I know her now.
She's still Captain Marvel in 1992.
Well, the costume is the same. They didn't say Captain Marvel, so it's possible she's going by another name. But yeah, this was all kind of like a WTF read, much like the others, but it wasn't fun. That's the thing. It wasn't fun. So I think we've solved the mystery of why I gravitated so much to the earlier stuff.
This story is collected in Captain America, Man and Wolf by Mark Grunwald. It collects issues 402 through 408 of Captain America. So this does seem like the end.
It says the final fate of Cap Wolf. So yeah, that makes sense.
So if you wanted to read this, and then there's a Captain America Fighting Chance. It looks like you can denial and accept. It looks like you get a lot of this stuff, in singular trades. So I don't know if it's been like collecting those epic stuff. But yes, Man and Wolf. If you're looking for the first 7 issues of this.
I guess so. I mean, I'll probably get there eventually. I think I'm on like issue 120 of Captain America, just like reading through the old stuff. So maybe one day it will all make sense to me. I realize now as we're wrapping up that we talked about reading Devil Dinosaur and both of us forgot.
Oh, yeah. I had it. I found it. Yeah, it's only 6 issues or so.
I know. So maybe for next week.
Well, also, did you watch the Batman or the Gotham Knights gameplay footage?
No.
So the people who made the Arkham...
I saw images.
Yeah, the people who made Arkham Origins are making a game called Gotham Knights, and it's Batman is dead, and so you're playing as Batgirl, Nightwing, I think Red Robin, and maybe the Red Hood. And so like you're playing all the Bat family.
I love
it. Protecting Gotham in this time that Batman's gone, and it looks multiplayer. Like it looks like it's pretty smooth.
Oh, I would love that.
It looks like a like kind of over the shoulder, so it's not like those old Ultimate Alliances. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was watching it, and like Robin is just like jumping and kicking off to the side as somebody's playing as Batgirl, and it looked like a smooth transition.
That was
so
awesome.
You love the Bat family more than you love Batman. So
I do. That's why I love that game, Batman: Rise of Sinsu.
Yes.
Forever ago.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun because you're playing a lot of Bat family.
So-
when is that Avengers game supposed to come out?
This
is that
year.
still coming out?
this
it is.
year
Okay.
it was in beta.
What
yeah.
system do you think it would be best on?
I couldn't tell you. Right now, if you want to play Spider-Man, you have to get a PlayStation copy because he's exclusive only to Sony's machine.
Right. That's right.
So,
Smart. Smart move.
Well, a lot of people are upset about it.
Sure.
Because, like, if you buy it on PC or Xbox, you're still paying the same price. You just don't get Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that Gotham Knights is going to be... You might want to wait till a PS5 or Xbox Series X thing. But you got a Switch now, man. You can... There's so many games out there for you.
World's my oyster.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And they're so expensive.
They're never on sale. You can get a bunch of the indie games that are on the store that aren't Nintendo pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to do it. It's funny. Do you have just the Joy-Cons?
Yeah, so far.
Those controllers, the Pro controllers that are just like normal controllers, are also like $60 to $70.
I know.
It's
yeah,
crazy.
I saw that.
So
my son and I have been playing a lot. I downloaded Mario Brothers, like the original Mario Brothers, where you're just like trying to knock the turtle shells. We've been having a good time with that.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
We've been having a good time with that. So that's a good team game for us.
If you get the Nintendo like online subscription, I think it's cheaper than all the others. Games come on it as well.
That's cool.
So you could play online, and then you can download all the those games, like a lot of NES and Super Nintendo games.
That's cool.
So, yeah,
fun.
Yeah, happy for you. Kendra keeps wanting a Switch, but she does not play games often enough. She played Just Dance one night or one day. She's like, today's exercise, I'll do Just Dance. I'm like, cool. So I bought her some new Just Dance games for the Wii for that. One day later, and then she's done. Animal Crossing on the DS. I'm like, here you go. She's like, cool. Next day, nah. So that she's like, I want to Switch.
He who's without, this is what my Christian comics told me. He who is without sin can cast the first stone, because you and I bought Pokemon Sun and Moon together. Yeah. And I played a ton of that game, and you never even turned it on.
Yeah. Anybody want a Nintendo 3?
Seriously.
Nintendo 2DS.
Yeah.
Just
what a letdown
with Pokemon Moon. I don't know, man. It's just I knew I wasn't.
The thing is, I wanted Moon, but I let you get Moon.
Oh, I'll send you Moon. I'll send you Moon in the mail.
It's a sore spot.
And then you and your son can like battle.
There we go. We only have one, but that's okay.
There's Pokemon on the Switch.
Okay.
So that's it.
Maybe I'll get into it.
Yeah. All right.
10 episodes, buddy. We're in double digits now.
Hey, that's true. Who would have believed?
Excited?
Who would believe we put a man on the moon?
Fans
a man
demanded.
on the moon. That's REM. Sorry.
No. All right.
I've been in a 90s music stage.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. You got a new podcast up and running.
Yeah, I didn't even say that at the beginning. Me and my wife are starting a new podcast called 90s Music's Got Me Like, where we just look back at one song from the 90s every episode. That we just released the first one. It's available right now everywhere except Apple, because we're waiting for the approval. But we looked back at the Spin Doctor song, Two Princes. It was only 25 minutes long. The whole episode, which is kind of the ideal what I wanted.
Actually, I tried to search for it and I couldn't find it. So maybe I'll.
Yeah,
maybe whenever
I think we still need to get it like on Stitcher and all those other stuff. Yeah. So, but cool. Yeah, there's an RS feed. We haven't shared it because it's not on Apple just yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, 90s tone. But so are you with this Captain America thing. A lot of your quarter bins have come from because you also read that Storm Wonder Woman. Not anagram. Amalgam. Yeah. So I had started more of that Terminator comic, but I just didn't get very far in this. So I guess next week I'll have read more Black Hammer, more Suicide Squad, and hopefully some Terminator and
Devil Dinosaur
and some new Mutants. And I want to get back to Shadow Man.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
It's getting ridiculous. I never had any of the subscriptions, and now I got a DC, a Marvel, and a Comicsology subscription. I know. I got to cut out one of these, right? Surely.
DC, Marvel, and Archie. I don't think I'm gonna. I really think that I burned through all of the like new Archie stuff that I could ever want.
Now you just gotta go classic,
yeah. But I mean, the app does have a lot of free stuff on it too, so I'll probably keep the app around so I can read the free stuff.
All right.
But anyway.
Also, I guess next week I'll probably talk about X-Men Apocalypse because I got to rewatch that from previously on X-Men.
Oh boy. Okay.
You don't.
All right.
I mean, do you? Do you have to watch that?
No,
it's a long
probably
one.
not. It is.
You're working again, so now you can leave the house.
I mean, you just did your Storm episode already, but Storm is my favorite part of that. I know she's a very minor part of that, but
really underused.
But I really like everything Storm does in that. She left me wanting more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Comic Book Coffee Break.
Comic Book Coffee Break. Again, this is part of the Radio Meanwhile Network. You can find more about this show and others like it at radiomeanwhile.com. And you can find all these episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/duskversus-tweak. The previous episodes if you want, or this week's. I don't know why you would need to find where this week's is.
Yeah.
But I guess you do.
That'd be confusing.
If it mattered, you could follow me at Twitch as Dusk vs. Tweak. It's where we record these live if you're watching these previously recorded. We tend to do them on Sundays, but no promises.
That's true.
So.
And you can also find us over on the All the Book Show, the official podcast of the David A. Howe Public Library, on Twitter at All the Book Show, SoundCloud.com/allthebooks, or anywhere you get your podcast.
We're talking about books we read in one sitting next.
That's right.
So, with this show, we're like, woo, 10 episodes. All the books we've been doing for 200 and something episodes.
This will be, the one we record next will be 263, plus all the supplementals.
Yeah,
so.
all the supplementals. Yeah. It's important you take your supplementals, because you don't get, you don't always, in like an overcast area, you're not getting the proper vitamin D.
Sure.
So you want the supplemental interviews with Julia Spencer.
That's right. Yep.
All right. Bye, everybody.
902, and here we go.
No.
Sorry.
Comic book coffee break, friends.
Here we go.
Time.